Rain slashes against the train windows like tiny knives, the rhythmic clatter of wheels on steel the only sound in the near-empty car. My reflection stares back at me from the glass, pale, anxious, and slightly blurred, like I don't quite belong in my own skin, which honestly tracks. I glance down at the crimson envelope clutched in my hands. The paper feels old and strangely warm, the kind of thing you'd expect to see in some Gothic museum rather than the real world. Stamped across the front is a black wax seal etched with a snarling wolf's head. My ticket out, my new beginning. And maybe the biggest mistake of my life. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. That was my foster mom's favorite saying. She had a whole rotation of them, most of which came with a cigarette dangling from her lips and a glare that could make a grown man cry. I told myself this wasn't one of those situations. This scholarship was real. Wolfbane Academy was real. This was my chance to stop being the orphan girl with nothing to her name and start over. But the further the train carries me into the night, the less I believe that. The outside world blurs by in streaks of shadowy trees and fog, and then suddenly, without warning, the forest grows wrong. Too still, too dark. The hairs on the back of my neck rise as if someone is watching me. That's when I hear it. A low, haunting howl cuts through the storm. It's distant but unmistakable. My chest tightens. It sounds almost human. I glance around the train car, expecting other passengers to react. Nothing. A couple of rich-looking students are lounging in velvet seats, earbuds in, scrolling through their sleek phones like they didn't hear a thing. Except one boy. He's sitting across the aisle, dressed in the Academy's crisp black uniform. His head lifts at the exact moment the howl echoes, golden eyes flicking toward me with a predator's focus. There's something off about him, something sharp and calculating in that stare that makes me look away fast. The lights above us flicker, plunging the car into darkness for a split second. When they buzz back on, the boy is gone. "What the hell?" I mutter, gripping the envelope tighter. My pulse is a drumbeat in my ears. The train jerks violently, throwing me forward. My shoulder slams into the seat ahead of me. Outside, I see the faint outline of a lonely, Gothic-looking station shrouded in mist. We've arrived. The train doors hiss open, and cold air slaps me in the face as I step onto the platform. Lanterns cast pools of eerie yellow light, barely pushing back the shadows. A cluster of students in perfect uniforms waits near the edge, their expressions sharp, entitled, and just this side of hostile. I adjust the strap of my overstuffed duffel bag, instantly feeling like the poor kid at a billionaire's party, which, to be fair, I basically am. A group at the very front stands apart from the others. Their posture screams royalty, like the world revolves around them and they know it. One guy in particular draws my attention without even trying. He's tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair falling slightly into his eyes. His uniform jacket is tailored perfectly, his hands casually tucked into his pockets like he owns the entire station. He doesn't look at me, but something about him, it's like he's aware of me, too aware. As if sensing my gaze, he tilts his head ever so slightly, just enough to make me feel like a rabbit being measured by a wolf. I tear my eyes away, pretending to fuss with my bag. Nope, not dealing with that right now. "Harper," a cheerful voice chirps beside me. I turn to see a petite girl with strawberry blonde hair and a beaming smile. She's holding a matching crimson envelope. "Yeah, that's me," I say cautiously. She sticks out her hand. "Leela Cross, roomies." Her handshake is warm and enthusiastic, like she didn't just step into the set of a horror movie. "Oh, cool," I reply, grateful for at least one friendly face. "First time here." "Yep, but my cousin went here last year, says it's amazing." She lowers her voice conspiratorially, and kind of intense. I raise an eyebrow. Intense how? Before she can answer, a loud whistle pierces the air. Several dark, horse-drawn carriages roll up to the platform, their wheels creaking ominously. The horses are massive and black as shadows, their breath fogging the cold night air. A stern older man in a silver-trimmed uniform barks, First years, load up, hurry. Leela grabs my hand and drags me toward the nearest carriage. I'll explain on the way. The carriage smells faintly of leather and wood smoke. Leela chatters nervously as we rumble down a winding path surrounded by thick, twisted trees. So like the academy's all about tradition, she says. Some of the rules are old school. Define old school, I mutter, clutching my bag as the carriage hits a bump. You'll see, she bites her lip, clearly torn about saying more. Tonight's a special ceremony. It's kind of a big deal. What kind of big deal? Before she can answer, something slams against the side of the carriage with bone-rattling force. The horses scream, rearing up. The whole vehicle tilts dangerously and Leela shrieks, clutching my arm. My heart leaps into my throat. Through the rain-streaked window, I catch a flash of glowing yellow eyes just beyond the tree line. What was that? I gasp. Leela shakes her head frantically. Don't look. The horses are moments from bolting when a commanding voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. Easy. The word is low, dark, and threaded with something almost supernatural. Instantly, the horses still, their wild eyes rolling but obedient. I look up and see him. The dark-haired guy from the station stands in the middle of the road, perfectly calm despite the storm. He moves with a predator's grace as he approaches, laying one hand on a horse's muzzle. The animal trembles, then lowers its head submissively. He doesn't even glance at me as he murmurs, "Stay inside. The hunt hasn't started yet." My stomach plummets. The hunt. Before I can ask what he means, he steps back into the shadows and disappears like he was never there. The rest of the ride is a blur. My mind spins with questions as the forest finally thins, revealing a sprawling castle-like academy perched on a cliff. Its towers pierce the storm clouds, windows glowing like watchful eyes. Inside, it's even more breathtaking and terrifying. Black marble floors gleam under eerie blue chandeliers. Dozens of students gather in a massive hall, all whispering and casting quick, assessing glances at one another. "Welcome, first years," a deep, commanding voice booms. Everyone falls silent as a tall, silver-haired man steps onto the stage. His presence is magnetic, his smile sharp as a blade. This has to be Headmaster Elias Blackthorn. "Wolfbane Academy exists to breed strength," he says smoothly. "Only the worthy rise. Tonight you will prove whether you belong." The words send a chill racing down my spine. Beside me, Leela squeezes my hand, her face pale. I try to laugh it off, prove whether we belong, like with a pop quiz, a spelling bee. My laugh dies when several guards lead a line of caged humans into the hall. The crowd erupts in cheers. My stomach twists as I stare at the terrified captives. What the hell kind of school is this? A drum beats somewhere deep in the hall. Elias raises a hand, silencing everyone. The choosing ceremony begins now. One by one, impossibly gorgeous students step forward to select their partners. Some of the chosen go willingly. Others are dragged, kicking and screaming. Leela and I try to hide in the back, but it doesn't matter. Because he steps forward. The dark-haired guy, Lucian, moves like a storm given flesh. The crowd holds its breath as he walks straight toward me. My pulse thunders so loud I swear everyone can hear it. Without a word, he grabs my wrist. His hand is hot, almost burning. "Hey," I yelp, trying to yank free. "What do you think you're?" "Mine." His voice is low and final, leaving no room for argument. The hall erupts into shocked murmurs. Somewhere, someone hisses my name like a curse. I stare at him wide-eyed. "Wait, what do you mean mine?" Lucian's golden eyes meet mine, unreadable. A slow, dangerous smirk curves his lips. "You'll find out tonight." The drumbeat rises to a frantic pace as Elias declares, "Let the trial begin." The massive doors slam shut with a boom that echoes through my bones. Somewhere outside, a wolf howls. The doors slam shut behind us with a deafening boom, sealing me inside this nightmare. The sound reverberates through the hall like the final toll of a funeral bell. For a heartbeat, everything goes still. Then the room erupts. The crowd roars, stamping their feet, voices rising into a frenzied chant I can't make out over the sheer noise. My ears ring. My chest tightens. It feels like the walls are closing in on me, the chandeliers swaying wildly overhead. What the hell is happening? I shout, twisting against Lucian's iron grip on my wrist. He doesn't even look at me. His jaw is clenched, his face carved from stone as he drags me forward like I weigh nothing. Let me go, I snarl, digging in my heels. My sneakers squeal against the polished marble, useless. Stay close, he orders, voice low and dangerous, or you won't live long enough to regret it. Those words freeze me for half a second. Live long enough to regret it. What does that even mean? Somebody better start explaining because my words cut off as a group of students surges forward, their eyes gleaming unnaturally in the dim light. They're laughing, cheering, shouting things like claim her and rip her apart. My stomach drops into my shoes. Lucian pulls me onto a raised platform at the center of the hall, where a massive black wolf sigil is etched into the marble. When he finally turns to face the crowd, the air shifts. The chaos quiets instantly, like every single person is holding their breath. And then he says it again, that one terrible word. Mine. The crowd erupts a second time, even louder than before. Some cheer like they've just witnessed history. Others snarl and hiss like a pack of wild animals ready to tear me apart. I stumble back, shaking my head. Wait, what? No, I'm not. What do you mean mine? Lucian's golden eyes flick down to me, molten and unreadable. His fingers tighten on my wrist until I swear he could snap it without trying. It's not a question, he says flatly. It's a declaration. No, no, no. I yank against him, panic clawing up my throat. I didn't sign up for whatever this is. The crowd laughs at that, laughs. Like my terror is the funniest thing they've ever seen. I whip my head around, searching for anyone who might help me. That's when I see him. He steps through the throng like a king among peasants, his presence so commanding it sucks all the air from the room. His hair is pale gold, his smile smooth and deadly. Even his walk is predatory, each stride unhurried and deliberate, like he knows exactly how much space he owns. And everyone moves for him. No one dares get in his way. When his icy blue gaze lands on me, a shiver rips down my spine. Well, well, he drawls, voice silky and mocking. Lucian Blackthorn taking a mate? I thought you swore you'd never bother with the tradition. Lucian's shoulders go rigid. Walk away, Kael. Kael smirks, circling us like a shark scenting blood. Walk away. Now why would I do that when you've claimed her? His gaze sweeps over me from head to toe, lingering just long enough to make my skin crawl. This little thing doesn't smell like prey, he murmurs, almost to himself. Not at all. I jerk back, my pulse hammering. What is wrong with you people? Kael tilts his head, amused. Oh, she's fiery, I like that. Back off. Lucian's voice is a growl, low and vibrating with menace. The crowd is eating this up like it's their favorite drama series. They're whispering furiously, exchanging bets, grinning like someone about to die for their entertainment. Kael's smirk only widens. Relax, cousin, you know how this works. If she's unclaimed, she's fair game. Unless, he arches a perfect brow, unless you can actually keep her. The tension between them crackles like a live wire. Cousins? Oh, great. Family drama and homicidal jealousy. My life just keeps getting better. I don't belong to either of you, I shout, shoving at Lucian's chest. It's like pushing against a brick wall. He doesn't budge. The hall goes utterly still. Then the laughter starts, soft, mocking, and utterly cruel. You don't belong, one girl sneers from the crowd, her fangs flashing under the lights. Cute. Should we tell her? Another boy purrs. Or let her find out the fun way. What are you talking about? My voice cracks, hysteria bubbling up. What is this place? Why are there cages with? I cut myself off, remembering the terrified humans I saw earlier. The wolf lunges straight for me. I throw my arms over my head, bracing for agony. Stop! Lucian's command rips through the hall like a thunderclap. The wolf freezes mid-leap, muscles trembling, jaws snapping shut inches from my face. Its breath is hot and rancid, filling my nostrils with the scent of raw meat and blood. The entire hall falls silent, stunned. Lucian steps forward, placing himself between me and the beast. His voice is pure menace as he growls, low and deliberate, each word a promise of violence. "Touch what's mine," he snarls. Lucian's voice still echoes through the hall, sharp and lethal. "Touch what's mine," he growls, "and you die." The massive wolf doesn't move. Its entire body trembles like it's fighting some invisible chain, a low, guttural whine breaking through its throat. Its jaws snap an inch from my face before it finally drops to its belly, whining, submissive. Holy freaking shit. I stagger back, my hands clutching air, my pulse slamming in my ears. My knees nearly give out, but Lucian's hand shoots back, gripping my arm with bruising strength and keeping me upright. The crowd doesn't breathe. Then, as if someone hit a switch, they erupt into chaos. Voices explode all around me, some cheering, some shouting in outrage. The sound swallows me whole, a storm of bloodlust and excitement. My stomach churns as I realize they liked this. No, they were entertained by it. "Move," Lucian snarls, his voice cutting through the noise like a whip crack. He shoves Kael back, forcing a narrow path open, and drags me off the platform. Kael's laughter follows us, low and dark, slithering under my skin. "Run, cousin," he calls after Lucian, voice dripping with venom. "But you know you can't keep her forever." Lucian doesn't answer. His grip only tightens as he pulls me into a shadowed corridor, leaving the crowd's roar behind. My sneakers squeak against the cold stone floor, my breath ragged. My brain is short-circuiting. Wolves, freaking wolves. And a hall full of people cheering like this is normal Friday night entertainment. When we finally stop, it's in a dim passage lit by a single flickering torch. The silence feels suffocating after all that noise. I rip my arm from Lucian's grasp and spin on him. "What the hell was that?" My voice cracks, equal parts fear and fury. No, seriously, did I just hallucinate? Because I swear I saw a giant wolf try to rip my face off. Lucian stares down at me, golden eyes glowing faintly in the low light. "You didn't hallucinate." "Oh, good," I say hysterically, throwing my hands up. "So, a giant man-eating wolf almost made me its dinner. Totally fine, no biggie." He doesn't flinch at my sarcasm. "You're not listening." "You're right, I'm not, because nothing you say makes sense." My voice shakes harder now. "You drag me to some creepy ceremony, claim me like I'm a prize on a game show, and then, what? Wolf attacks happen. Explain, Lucian. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Lucian takes a deliberate step closer, towering over me. His presence is overwhelming, like standing too close to a wildfire. "If you want to survive," he says evenly, "you'll shut up and listen." The way he says survive freezes the words on my tongue. My heartbeat kicks into overdrive. Survive what? "The trial," he says simply, like that's supposed to mean something. I blink at him. The what now? Lucian's jaw flexes. He clearly hates explaining anything, but for some reason he does. Every year, the heirs of the most powerful packs compete. Each heir must claim a partner. Together, they prove their strength. If they fail, they're eliminated. "Okay, eliminated," I say, nodding rapidly. As in, like, sent home, expelled, given a sad little participation trophy. His silence answers me better than words ever could. "Oh my God," I whisper, ice crawling up my spine. "Eliminated means dead, doesn't it?" Lucian doesn't deny it. He just stares at me with that cold, unreadable expression. I stumble back until my shoulders hit the wall. "No, no, nope. I'm not playing whatever Hunger Games nightmare this is. You've got the wrong girl." His eyes flash with something sharp. There is no wrong girl, only the one chosen. I laugh, a short, broken sound. "You don't get it. I don't fight. I'm on scholarship for academics. My biggest act of rebellion was sneaking a bottle of vodka into a dorm mixer." Lucian's lips twitch, but not with humor. "You were brought here for a reason." "Oh, I know the reason," I snap. Because somebody screwed up the invitation list. I'm going to the dean right now and... Enough! His voice whips through the corridor like a physical blow. I flinch, my back pressing harder into the wall. Lucian leans down until his face is inches from mine, his eyes molten gold and terrifyingly intense. There is no dean. There is no escape. There is only the trial. For a moment, I can't breathe. The torchlight flickers over his sharp features, casting deep shadows across his cheekbones, making him look more beast than man. You survive until the blood moon, he says, each word measured and deliberate, and you'll take your place as Luna, my mate, my equal, my queen. My mouth falls open. You're what? He ignores my outburst. Fail, and you'll be ripped apart by the others, piece by piece. My stomach lurches. This is some insane hazing ritual, right? Like, you guys go full method acting to scare the new kids. Lucian's face doesn't change, not even a flicker of amusement. Does it feel like a game to you? Before I can answer, a blood-curdling scream echoes down the corridor. It's raw, gut-wrenching, human. I whip around, heart pounding. Oh my God, someone's hurt. We have to help them. Lucian grabs my wrist before I can move. Don't. Are you serious? I shove at him. Somebody just screamed for their life. They are not your concern. The hell they're not. I wrench free and take off running before he can stop me. Harper, Lucian's voice thunders behind me, but I don't look back. My sneakers pound the stone floor, my breath tearing through my lungs. The screams grow louder, more desperate, and I push harder, rounding a corner. And freeze. A boy, maybe 16, is being dragged across the floor by two massive figures cloaked in black. His nails scrape bloody tracks into the stone as he kicks and thrashes. Please, he sobs, don't let them take me. I'll be good, I swear I'll be good. My stomach flips violently. What the hell is going on? One of the figures glances up, its face hidden behind a wolf-shaped mask. Its voice is deep, inhumanly calm. The weak are called. No, I whisper, shaking my head violently. No, no, no. One girl, maybe 12, crawls to the bars and clutches them with tiny, bloody fingers. Help us, she rasps. Please. Behind me, Lucian curses under his breath. Harper, don't. I whirl on him, my entire body trembling, tears blurring my vision. What the hell is this place? He doesn't answer. Because there's no good answer. He finally glances back, his face a mask of deadly seriousness. You're the prey, Harper. The words slam into me, knocking the air from my lungs. My mouth works soundlessly for a moment before I manage to choke out. No, you can't mean. They'll be rewarded for every strike, every drop of your blood spilled. His voice stays calm, but his grip on my wrist tightens. If you die, they gain prestige and points. If you live, I win. This is insane. My scream rips from my throat. I didn't agree to this. I didn't sign up to be hunted like a freaking rabbit. Lucian's jaw clenches, but he doesn't waver. Neither did I. Before I can process what that means, a shadow detaches from the crowd. Kael. He strolls toward us like he has all the time in the world, his golden hair catching the torchlight, his grin a sharp slash of white teeth. Behind him, his wolves shift and snarl, restless and eager. Cousin, Kael drawls, his voice smooth and mocking. Always so protective of your little prize. Lucian shifts his stance, his body subtly tensing. She's not yours to touch. Kael's gaze slides over me, slow and invasive, like he's cataloging every inch of me. My skin crawls. Oh, but she could be, he says, his smile widening. You see, Harper, these little games have rules, and one of them is simple. The prey can choose a different protector. My stomach lurches. Protector. Kael takes a step closer, his voice dropping to a silken whisper meant just for me. Come to me willingly, and I'll keep you safe. You won't have to run, won't have to bleed. His grin turns sharp. Lucian can't promise you that. I back up instinctively, bumping into Lucian's chest. Lucian's arm curls around me like steel. You'll stay with me, Lucian growls, his voice a low rumble of warning. Kael just laughs, a sound as cold as the night air. We'll see. Before Lucian can respond, Elias, the terrifying figure from the ceremony, emerges onto a raised platform. The crowd goes silent, every glowing eye turning toward him. His voice booms across the courtyard. The rules are simple. The prey will be released into the forest. Hunters will have until dawn to track her down and take her mark. His gaze lands on me, and I swear my blood freezes. If she dies before sunrise, the heir who claims her is eliminated. If she survives, she becomes his Luna. The crowd roars, a deafening mix of howls and cheers. My legs threaten to give out beneath me. Lucian, my voice cracks. We're leaving right now. You can't leave, he says flatly. The grounds are bound by magic. If you try to escape, it will kill you before they can. My breath catches. So I'm trapped. He doesn't answer. He doesn't need to. Elias raises a clawed hand. The air itself seems to shiver. Release the prey. My stomach drops straight to the stone floor. Lucian spins me to face him, gripping my shoulders. His golden eyes bore into mine. Run, hide, stay alive. No matter what happens, don't stop fighting. Lucian, my voice shakes. Don't leave me. He hesitates for a fraction of a second, just long enough for me to see something flash in his eyes, fear, maybe even guilt. Then the horn sounds again, louder this time, rattling my bones. Lucian shoves me toward the tree line. Go. I stumble forward, my feet pounding against the cold grass. Behind me, wolves explode into motion, snarls splitting the night as they surge after me. Branches whip at my face as I crash into the dark forest. My breath is ragged, my vision blurring with tears. Every instinct screams at me to keep running, but the snarls are closer now, surrounding me. I duck behind a fallen log, pressing my hand over my mouth to muffle my sobs. My entire body shakes. Then a twig snaps to my right. My head whips around just in time to see glowing red eyes, staring back at me through the darkness. A figure steps out of the shadows. My breath catches. Leela, my voice is a whisper. Oh my God, thank God it's you. She smiles. But it's wrong, cold, empty. Poor Harper, she says sweetly, drawing a blade from her belt. You really thought you could trust me. Before I can move, she lunges. Leela's blade flashes toward my throat. I throw my hands up on instinct, a ragged scream tearing from my lungs. But before the blade can pierce my skin, a blur of motion collides with her. Leela is slammed into a tree, so hard the trunk cracks. Lucian. He's a storm of fury and shadows, his golden eyes blazing as he pins her by the throat. Traitor, he snarls, voice low and guttural. Leela chokes, clawing at his grip. It's not what you think, she rasps. Harper, Lucian snaps, his voice cutting through the night like a whip. Move. My body finally obeys, scrambling backward across the damp forest floor. My chest burns, my pulse racing so hard I can barely breathe. I watch, frozen, as Leela's face twists, not in fear but in something far more dangerous. A smirk. You can't protect her forever, she croaks, defiance glinting in her eyes. The others will find her, and when they do, she'll beg for death. Lucian's jaw tightens. Then, without a word, he hurls her into the darkness. She vanishes between the trees, leaving only the sound of snapping branches and a sharp gasp of pain as she lands somewhere out of sight. Get up! Lucian's hand is suddenly on my arm, hauling me to my feet. I flinch at his touch. She was my friend. She was never your friend, he cuts in, his tone like steel. She was bait. Now you know why I told you not to trust anyone. My breath catches, a sob lodged in my throat. This is insane. This whole thing is insane, Lucian. Why are you doing this? Why are you letting them hunt me like I'm something? His grip tightens, forcing me to meet his eyes. His voice drops to a dark whisper. Because if you don't play their game, you die, and so do I. That shuts me up. The forest is still alive around us, distant howls weaving through the night, closer now, sharper. The hunters are circling. Lucian pulls me closer, until there's barely an inch between us. Listen to me, Harper. From this moment on, you follow my lead or we both end up dead. I swallow hard, staring at him. You knew this was going to happen. His expression flickers, something almost human breaking through his cold mask. I didn't have a choice. Like hell you didn't, I spit, anger boiling up past my fear. You chose me in that ceremony, remember? You threw me into this nightmare. Lucian's eyes flash dangerously, but his voice stays low and controlled. If Kael had chosen you, you'd already be dead, or worse. I freeze, worse than this. Yes, there's no hesitation in his tone. You think you've seen the monsters here, but you haven't. Kael doesn't just want to win the trial, Harper. He wants to own you. A cold shiver snakes down my spine. Somewhere deep in the forest, a horn sounds again, closer this time. The hunt is tightening. Lucian's hand cups my face, startling me. His thumb brushes my cheek, firm but oddly gentle. I can get you out of this alive, but you have to trust me. You're asking me to trust the guy who just threw my roommate into a tree, I snap, my voice trembling. Not exactly inspiring confidence. The faintest trace of a smirk curves his lips. She was going to slit your throat. You're welcome. Before I can respond, he tilts his head, listening. His entire body goes rigid. They're coming. I glance wildly around, panic clawing at my chest. The forest is pitch black except for the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the branches. Every shadow looks like a threat, every rustle a wolf ready to pounce. Lucian grabs my wrist and pulls me deeper into the woods, moving so fast my feet barely keep up. My lungs burn, and branches whip against my face as we weave through the trees. Finally, he drags me into a narrow ravine hidden by thick brush. We crouch low, our bodies pressed close as he covers my mouth with his hand. I can feel his heartbeat hammering against my back. Not a sound, he breathes against my ear. My chest heaves as I nod, too terrified to do anything else. Moments later, glowing eyes appear in the darkness. 2, no, 4, 6, an entire pack moving silently through the trees. Their growls rumble low, vibrating through the ground. I clamp my hands over my mouth, praying they don't smell my fear. The wolves stalk past us, and for a heartbeat, I think we're safe. Then one stops. Its massive head swings toward our hiding spot, nostrils flaring. My breath catches. The wolf snarls and lunges forward. Before I can even scream, Lucian explodes into motion. He launches himself at the beast, shifting midair. His body twists and contorts, fur ripping through skin, bones cracking in a sickening symphony. In less than a second, the man is gone, replaced by a massive black wolf with eyes like molten gold. The fight is brutal and fast. Lucian's wolf form tears into the other, their snarls deafening, their bodies a blur of teeth and claws. Blood splatters the ground. When it's over, the other wolf lies still. Lucian's sides heave with ragged breaths as he turns back to me, his fur shimmering before his human form snaps back into place. He's naked, covered in blood, but his eyes burn with fierce determination. "We don't have much time," he says, grabbing a discarded cloak and throwing it over his shoulders. "Kael won't stop until he has you." I stagger back, my legs shaking. I don't understand. Why me? Lucian hesitates, his jaw tightening. "Because you're not just a random human, Harper. You're a symbol. If Kael claims you, he gains leverage he can use against me, and against the entire academy." The words swirl in my head, confusing and terrifying. You keep saying things like that, but you never explain. What the hell is really going on here? His golden gaze meets mine, fierce and unyielding. "When this night is over, I'll tell you everything. But for now, you need to survive." Before I can argue, a slow clap echoes through the clearing. The sound freezes my blood. Kael steps out of the shadows, a wicked smile curving his perfect lips. His hair gleams like spun gold in the moonlight, and his pale blue eyes glitter with something dark and hungry. "Well, well," he drawls, his tone mocking and smooth. "My dear cousin, always so dramatic. fighting off my wolves, whispering sweet promises to the prey. You really do have a flair for the heroic. Lucian moves in front of me, his body tense. Leave, Kael. Kael ignores him, his gaze sliding over me like a caress. Harper, he says my name like it's a secret. You've been playing in the wrong den. I take a step back, shaking my head. Stay away from me. Oh, but why would I do that? He purrs, closing the distance between us. When you were meant for me. Before I can move, Kael's hand snakes out, gripping my chin. His touch is possessive, claiming. You belong to me, he growls, his voice vibrating with raw power. And I will prove it. Lucian snarls, shifting his stance like he's about to attack. Touch her again and I'll. You'll what? Kael cuts in smoothly, his smirk widening. Kill me, you'd never dare, not here, not with the entire trial at stake. His eyes flick back to mine, gleaming with sick triumph. You can fight it all you want, Harper, but before this trial ends, you'll be mine. Kael's hand is still on my chin, his touch like a vice. My pulse hammers against his fingers, and a wild, primal fear roars through me. You can fight it all you want, Harper, he whispers, his lips so close I feel the heat of his breath. But before this trial ends, you'll be mine. Get your damn hands off her. Lucian's voice is a deadly snarl, sharp enough to slice through the night. His whole body trembles with barely restrained rage, his golden eyes glowing like molten fire. Kael's smirk widens. Slowly, deliberately, he lets go, but only to circle me like a predator toying with its prey. His pale blue gaze never leaves my face. You're so protective, cousin. His tone drips with mockery. Is she really worth risking everything for? She's under my protection, Lucian growls, stepping between us. Challenge me again and you'll regret it. Kael laughs, a low, dark sound that sends shivers crawling over my skin. Oh, you've staked a claim, have you? Interesting, but claims are meaningless unless sealed properly. His eyes gleam as he glances back at me, and I swear my stomach twists into a knot. She doesn't even know what that means, does she? I look between them, completely lost. What the hell are you talking about? Kael tilts his head, feigning pity. Poor little human, you have no idea the game you've been dragged into. Lucian's been keeping secrets. Enough, Lucian snaps, his voice like a whip. He moves so fast it makes me gasp. 1 second he's standing beside me, the next he's right in Kael's face, teeth bared. Get out of here, Kael, now. Kael doesn't flinch. Instead, he leans in closer, his lips curling into a slow, sinister smile. Tick-tock, cousin, the blood moon's coming, and when it does, she'll have to choose. I blink at him, trying to process that. Marks me, like biting, that's oh my god, that's sick. It's worse than sick, Lucian snaps, his jaw tightening. It's binding, a permanent bond. You'd be tied to him in every way, body, mind, soul. My stomach flips violently. I think I might throw up. So you're saying, if he does that to me, I wouldn't even be me anymore. Lucian's gaze darkens. Exactly, which is why we don't have time to argue. If Kael makes a move before I do, you're doomed. I freeze, my breath hitching. Before you do. His golden eyes meet mine, intense and unyielding. The only way to keep you safe is to mark you myself. For a moment, the entire world goes silent. I just stare at him, my pulse pounding in my ears. You've lost your damn mind, I whisper. Lucian takes a step closer, his presence overwhelming, predatory. It won't be permanent, he says quickly, like he knows exactly how crazy this sounds. There's a ritual, a temporary blood oath. It'll last just long enough to keep Kael from touching you. I shake my head, stumbling back. This is insane. You're asking me to let you bite me, like I'm one of you. It's the only way, Lucian growls, frustration bleeding into his tone. Do you think I want this? Do you think I enjoy dragging you into this nightmare? Maybe you do, I fire back, anger bubbling past my fear. You've been lying to me since the moment I got here. I don't even know who the hell you are, Lucian. Why should I trust you? His expression twists, pained and raw, and for just a second, I see something vulnerable flicker beneath his cold exterior. Because I've been fighting to keep you alive since the second you set foot in this place, he says hoarsely. Because Kael won't stop, Harper. He'll keep coming until he owns you or kills you. I am the only thing standing between you and him. The truth in his voice hits me like a punch. My anger wavers, replaced by something far more dangerous, desperate, trembling hope. Before I can respond, a low, echoing howl splits the night. Lucian stiffens. The others are closing in. We don't have time for this. He grabs my shoulders, forcing me to look at him. It's your choice. Right now. Either you let me do this, or you take your chances with Kael. My heart slams against my ribs. His golden eyes are inches from mine, intense and blazing with an emotion I can't name. My voice cracks. I don't know if I can trust you. He leans closer, his breath warm against my cheek. Then trust yourself. You already know what Kael is. My throat goes dry. Memories of Kael's cold hands on my face, his twisted smile, his promise that I'd be his, flash through my mind like lightning. I suck in a sharp breath. Do it. Lucian exhales slowly, like he's been holding that breath for days. You won't regret this. I already do, I mutter. He doesn't smile. Instead, he tilts my head to the side, his thumb brushing over my racing pulse. The gesture is strangely intimate, almost tender, but his next words send a chill down my spine. This is going to hurt. Before I can reply, his fangs pierce my skin. I gasp, the pain so sharp and white-hot it feels like liquid fire racing through my veins. My fingers dig into his shoulders as a scream rips free, but it's swallowed by the night. The world tilts. I see flashes of images that aren't mine. Howling wolves, ancient stone thrones, rivers of blood beneath a crimson moon. And then wolves kneeling. Dozens of them, their heads bowed. To me. The vision slams into me with such force I stagger, barely aware that Lucian has pulled back, his mouth smeared with my blood. My knees give out, and he catches me before I hit the ground. Harper, his voice sounds far away, muffled by the roaring in my ears. Stay with me. I blink up at him, my breath coming in ragged gasps. What was that? Lucian's face is pale, his expression stark with shock. That shouldn't have happened. My stomach twists. What do you mean it shouldn't have happened? He opens his mouth to answer, but before he can, a bone-chilling howl rises in the distance, closer than ever. Lucian's head snaps up, his entire body tense. They've found us. Lucian yanks me to my feet, so fast my vision spins. Run, he snaps, his voice low and urgent. The chilling howl echoes again, closer this time, followed by the sound of pounding paws and snapping branches. My heart leaps into my throat. Who are they? I gasp, stumbling as Lucian drags me through the trees. Hunters, he growls, half shoving, half guiding me over roots and fallen logs. Kael's people, they've been tracking us since nightfall. The forest blurs around me, dark trees, silver moonlight, and the sickly sweet smell of blood in the air. My neck throbs where Lucian bit me, each pulse of pain dragging me back to the terrifying vision of wolves bowing to me. I stagger. Lucian, wait. No time. His grip tightens, his golden eyes flashing dangerously in the dark. If they catch you now, they'll drag you back to Kael, or worse. The words send ice down my spine. I bite back the 1,000 questions boiling inside me and just run, my lungs burning as howls and snarls close in behind us. Finally, a massive iron gate looms ahead, twisted vines crawling up its blackened bars. The academy's walls rise beyond it like a fortress out of a nightmare. Lucian stops just short of the gate, his chest heaving. This barrier will hold them off for now. I double over, clutching my knees, gasping for breath. My whole body shakes. I'm done. I can't keep running like this. You have to. Lucian crouches in front of me, his face fierce. The trial doesn't stop because you're tired. It goes on until everyone else is dead. My stomach lurches. Everyone else. He doesn't answer. That's answer enough. We slip through the gate, and the moment my feet cross the threshold, a strange, electric hum tingles over my skin, like crossing through an invisible force field. Lucian glances at me. The academy grounds are warded. No one gets in or out without permission. I swallow hard, so I'm trapped. His jaw tightens, for now. The words barely register before a sharp, commanding voice cuts through the night. Lucian. We both whirl around. Kael stands in the moonlit courtyard like a dark prince out of some twisted fairy tale. His blonde hair gleams like gold, his pale blue eyes glittering with malice and amusement. A group of wolf shifters flanks him, their bodies tense, their nostrils flaring as they catch my scent. He smiles when he sees me, and it's the kind of smile that makes my skin crawl. There she is, he purrs, the little thief who's stolen so much attention lately. Lucian steps in front of me instantly, blocking Kael's view. You're trespassing. Kael laughs, low and cold. Oh, cousin, you've gotten so territorial, makes me wonder why. His gaze slides over Lucian's shoulder to me, and his voice drops to a taunting whisper. Did you mark her? My cheeks burn, and I hate that I flinch. Kael notices, of course he notices. Lucian snarls, a sound so animalistic it rattles my bones. Back off, Kael. But Kael just strolls closer, his every move calculated, like a predator stalking prey. Relax, cousin, I'm not here to fight, he smirks. Not tonight, anyway. What do you want? Lucian bites out. Kael stops a few feet away, his wolves fanning out behind him like soldiers. His attention zeroes in on me, and suddenly it feels like I'm the only one in the courtyard. You, he says simply. The word slams into me like a punch. My throat goes dry. WH what? Kael's eyes gleam with hunger. You're interesting, Harper. Special. I could smell it the moment you arrived. That intoxicating mix of fear and fire. His tongue flicks over his teeth, and my stomach twists violently. I have to admit I like it. I take a shaky step back, pressing into Lucian's back for support. You're insane. Kael chuckles. Maybe, but insanity has its perks. Enough. Lucian's voice is lethal now, a razor's edge of fury. You so much as look at her again And what? Kael cuts him off, raising a brow. You'll challenge me here, in front of everyone. The wolves behind him growl in unison, the sound of vibrating chorus of threat. Lucian goes still. I can feel the barely contained violence radiating off him like heat. Kael takes advantage of his silence, stepping forward just enough to make my heart slam against my ribs. Then his attention shifts to me. Tell me, Harper, he murmurs, do you really think Lucian can keep you safe? He's a prince of a crumbling throne, a rebel with no army. He tilts his head. When the blood moon rises, he won't be able to save you, but I can. I shake my head, anger sparking through the fear. I don't need either of you to save me. His grin widens, sharp and wicked. Oh, I like you even more now. Then, with terrifying speed, Kael closes the distance between us. Before I can react, his hand wraps around my wrist, not hard but possessive, claiming. Lucian roars and lunges, but Kael uses me as a shield, spinning me to face him. My breath catches in my throat. You don't understand yet, he whispers, his lips inches from my ear. You're not just some human tossed into our little game. Your blood, his thumb brushes the pulse in my wrist, is the key to everything. What the hell does that mean? My voice comes out hoarse. Kael leans in, his breath hot and dangerous. It means you belong to me. Lucian explodes forward, slamming into Kael with bone-shattering force. They crash to the ground, a blur of fists, claws, and snarling teeth. The courtyard erupts into chaos as wolves leap into the fray. I stumble backward, my back hitting the cold stone wall. My chest heaves as I watch them fight, their forms shifting mid-blow, claws ripping into flesh. Kael laughs even as Lucian's fist smashes into his jaw. You can't protect her forever, cousin, he shouts over the din. The blood moon will rise and she'll choose. Lucian doesn't answer, he just keeps hitting him. And then, just as suddenly as it started, Kael shoves Lucian off and retreats a few paces, his wolves forming a protective circle around him. He wipes blood from his mouth, his smirk returning. This was fun, but next time, his pale eyes cut to me, filled with a promise that turns my blood to ice. Next time she comes willingly. Lucian lunges again, but Kael disappears into the shadows with his pack before he can reach him. The courtyard goes silent except for my ragged breathing. Lucian's chest heaves, his hands still curled into fists, his face twisted with rage. Harper, his voice is rough, strained. Are you hurt? I shake my head numbly, though my whole body trembles. He's obsessed with me, Lucian. I saw it in his eyes. Lucian's golden gaze darkens. I know. I swallow hard. What did he mean? About my blood being the key? Lucian's jaw clenches. He doesn't answer. I step closer, grabbing his arm. Lucian, tell me. Before he can speak, a whisper of breath brushes against my ear, cold and terrifying. You'll find out soon enough. I spin around, but there's no one there. Only Kael's mocking laugh echoing from the shadows. Kael's mocking laugh lingers in the night air, long after he and his pack vanish into the shadows. It crawls under my skin, icy and sharp, like invisible claws scraping at my bones. I spin around, searching the courtyard, but there's nothing there except broken stone and Lucian's heavy breathing beside me. Harper, Lucian's voice cuts through the thick silence, low and urgent. His hands land firmly on my shoulders, steadying me. Look at me, you're safe. My chest heaves, lungs desperate for air I can't seem to find. My skin still tingles where Kael's fingers gripped my wrist. Your blood is the key to everything. Safe, I don't feel safe, not even close. Lucian's golden eyes blaze with anger, but underneath there's something rower. Fear, for me. Kael's trying to get inside your head, he says, like he can read the panic etched across my face. Don't let him. I want to believe him, but Kael's words won't stop echoing. Your blood, the key, you belong to me. Lucian must see the doubt flicker across my face because his jaw hardens. No one here owns you, Harper. Not him, not me, no one. For a moment, the intensity in his voice steals my breath. But then the courtyard doors creak open, and I jerk back as a figure slips through the shadows. Harper. Leela stands in the doorway, wide-eyed and pale, her robe thrown hastily over her nightgown. She looks between Lucian and me like she just stumbled into a crime scene. What the hell happened out here? We end up back in our dorm room, sitting cross-legged on opposite beds like two kids at a sleepover. Except one of us almost got kidnapped by a psychotic werewolf heir an hour ago. I rub my temples, trying to make sense of everything, while Leela stares at me like I've grown a second head. Let me get this straight, she says slowly. Kael showed up with his goon squad, tried to manhandle you, and Lucian went full beast mode to stop him. Pretty much. My voice is flat, exhausted. Welcome to another night at Wolfbane Academy. She whistles low. Damn, and here I thought my old school was dramatic because somebody spiked the prom punch. I manage a weak laugh. You have no idea. But then her joking fades, replaced by something serious. Harper, this isn't normal, even for here. Kael doesn't usually target people this openly, not unless. She cuts herself off, biting her lip. Not unless what? I press. Her gaze flicks away. Forget it, it's stupid. No, I snap, sharper than I mean to. My nerves are frayed, every muscle tight with fear and adrenaline. Tell me. Leela hesitates, then sighs. There's this old rumor. That Kael's been looking for someone, a girl with special blood. She shrugs like it's nothing, but I catch the way her fingers twist in her blanket. Most people think it's just some creepy fairy tale he made up to scare new students. My pulse spikes. Your blood is the key to everything. Leela, I whisper. He said almost the exact same thing to me tonight. Her head snaps up, eyes widening. Wait, are you serious? I nod, my throat dry. He said my blood was the key. For a heartbeat, she just stares at me, frozen. Then she shakes her head violently. Okay, nope. That doesn't make sense. You're just a normal girl. You don't even come from a werewolf family. I know, I breathe, which is exactly why it terrifies me. The next day, training is brutal. Lucian pushes me harder than ever, like he's trying to burn Kael's touch off my skin through sheer exhaustion. Every muscle screams in protest, sweat stinging my eyes, but I grit my teeth and push through it. I can feel Kael's gaze on me across the arena, heavy and invasive. He doesn't even bother to hide it anymore. When we break for water, Leela sidles up to me, whispering, "He's watching you like a hawk." "Tell me something I don't know," I mutter, keeping my back turned to Kael. Leela frowns. "It's more than that, Harper. He's obsessed, and obsessed wolves are dangerous. I figured that out when he tried to drag me away last night." She grabs my arm. "You have to be careful. Don't trust anyone, not even Lucian." I blink, startled. "Lucian, why?" Her gaze darts nervously toward where Lucian stands, barking orders at a group of trainees. "Because he's not exactly squeaky clean either. He's Kael's cousin. Same bloodline, same darkness." She lowers her voice. "He might care about you now, but when it comes down to power or you, he'll choose power." My chest tightens. "You don't know that." "Maybe not," she admits, "but neither do you." That night I toss and turn, sleep impossible. Leela's warning gnaws at me, tangled up with Kael's words and Lucian's silence. Finally, I give up and sit by the window, staring out at the moonlit courtyard. That's when I hear it, a soft creak of floorboards. I glance over my shoulder. Leela's bed is empty. My pulse quickens. I slip on my boots and follow silently, careful not to make a sound. Leela moves fast and quiet, like she's done this before. She slips through the dorm halls, down a side staircase, and out into the night. I crouch behind a pillar, watching as she disappears into the woods. Where the hell is she going at this hour? I trail her at a distance, my heart pounding louder with each step. The forest is eerily silent, shadows stretching like claws beneath the pale moonlight. Finally, she stops at a clearing. And that's when I see him. A tall, imposing figure steps out of the darkness. Even without seeing his face clearly, I know who it is. Lucian's father, the Alpha King. My stomach drops like a stone. Leela rushes to him, bowing her head. "I came like you asked," she whispers. I slap a hand over my mouth to stifle a gasp. The Alpha King's deep voice rumbles through the night. "Good, report, tell me everything." Everything inside me freezes. Leela isn't just sneaking out. She's spying, reporting on me, on Lucian. My heart pounds so hard I'm afraid they'll hear it. I back away slowly, careful not to snap a branch underfoot. My mind is spinning, panic clawing at my chest. Leela, my only friend here. She's been working for him this whole time. A twig snaps behind me. I whirl around too late. Leela is standing there, her face pale, her hands trembling. "Harper," her voice cracks, horrified. "Oh no, you weren't supposed to see this." I stumble back, my breath coming fast. "Leela, what did you do?" Tears well in her eyes. "I'm sorry, I didn't have a choice." Behind her, the Alpha King's shadow looms larger, closer. "Leela," he barks, "finish it." My blood turns to ice. The atmosphere was cold, the kind that clung to your skin like a warning. My breath hitched as I crouched lower behind the stone archway, my heartbeat drumming in my ears so loud I was sure it would give me away. Leela's figure moved like a shadow ahead of me, her dark hair swaying as she slipped between two pillars near the eastern wing of the academy. She didn't look back once, not even a flicker of hesitation. I wanted to call out to her, to demand to know where the hell she was going at this hour, but something deep inside me screamed to stay silent. Her steps were too precise, too practiced. I pressed my palm against the cold stone wall, trying to keep my breathing quiet. "Don't lose her, Harper. If she hears you now, you'll never get the truth." Leela stopped suddenly, right under a flickering lantern. My pulse spiked. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small silver coin, etched with the same strange crest I'd seen on Lucian's ring. My blood ran cold. She slid it into a slot hidden within the stone wall, and a faint grinding noise filled the hallway. The wall shifted like a living thing, revealing a hidden passage lit by torches. Without a single glance back, Leela slipped inside. The wall sealed shut behind her. "What the hell?" I whispered under my breath, my voice trembling. I stepped forward, pressing my hands desperately against the stone, searching for a seam or a latch, anything. But before I could find it, the sound of footsteps echoed from behind me. I spun around, my heart slamming into my throat. But it was Leela. It was another student. And his eyes weren't human anymore. They glowed an unnatural amber, his pupils elongated into slits. His lips pulled back into a snarl, revealing sharp, jagged teeth. I turned a sharp corner and slammed into another body hard. Lucian. He caught me before I could fall, his grip tight around my arms. His chest heaved as he scanned me, his silver-gray eyes glowing faintly in the torchlight. "What happened?" His voice was sharp, demanding. "There's someone," I panted, pointing back toward the hall. He's not." But before I could finish, the other student rounded the corner, his face twisted in rage. Lucian shoved me behind him with one hand and bared his teeth. A deep, rumbling growl erupted from his chest. The sound was primal, terrifying, and yet somehow protective. The other student froze mid-step. "Leave," Lucian ordered, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. For a moment, it looked like the attacker would obey. His body trembled, fighting the command. Then, with a strangled snarl, he turned and lunged at me instead. Everything went red. I didn't think, I didn't plan. My hands moved on their own, grabbing the nearest weapon, a broken wooden staff leaning against the wall. I swung it with everything I had, catching him across the temple. But he didn't go down. He roared, claws swiping wildly, and I ducked, rolling away. My body felt different, faster, stronger, like something inside me had been unlocked. I landed in a crouch, baring my teeth in a way that felt eerily natural. My vision sharpened, every detail of the hallway coming into crystal-clear focus. The smell of blood, the heat of his breath. It was overwhelming. When he lunged again, I didn't run. I attacked. With a guttural scream, I drove the jagged end of the staff straight into his chest. The force of it sent us both crashing to the floor. For a split second, silence. Then his body convulsed and went still. I stared down at my trembling hands, the staff slick with blood. My chest heaved, the metallic tang of death sharp in my throat. "Oh my God," I gasped, stumbling backward. My stomach churned violently. I didn't mean. "You had no choice." Lucian's voice was steady, but when I looked up at him, his face was anything but calm. His eyes were wide, his jaw tight. I followed his gaze down to my hands. They weren't normal anymore. My nails had sharpened into claws, faintly glowing gold. Veins of light rippled beneath my skin, fatting as quickly as they appeared. "What's happening to me?" I whispered, horrified. Lucian didn't answer right away. Instead, he crouched down slowly, his expression shifting from shock to something much more dangerous, like realization was dawning on him. "Harper," he breathed almost reverently, "your eyes." "My what?" I demanded, voice shaking. He swallowed hard, his silver-gray gaze locked on mine. They just flashed golden. The words hung between us like a death sentence. Before I could process them, a horn blared in the distance, deep, ancient, and terrifying. The trial had claimed its first kill, and I had just become its newest monster. I stood there, frozen, the dagger trembling in my blood-stained hand. My breath came in sharp, shallow gasps as the metallic tang of iron filled my nose. The world around me blurred, trees, shadows, even the terrified expression on Leela's face in the distance. It was like the earth tilted beneath me, and all I could hear was my own pulse pounding in my ears. I had killed someone. Not just fought back, not just defended myself. Killed. "No, no, no," my voice cracked as I stumbled backward, nearly tripping over a root. My legs felt like they didn't belong to me anymore. The boy's body, Rafe, I think his name was, stared up at the night sky with wide, empty eyes. A rustle in the darkness snapped me out of my daze. Lucian emerged from the shadows like a phantom, his silver eyes burning. His chest rose and fell sharply as he stared at me, then down at Rafe's body. The muscles in his jaw ticked, and for a moment he didn't say a word. I expected anger, condemnation, maybe even punishment. Instead, he looked stunned, almost fearful. "Harper," he said finally, his voice low and dangerous. "What did you do?" He came at me," I stammered, my throat raw. "I didn't mean to, he was going to," my breath hitched, and I shook my head, unable to even form the words. "You fought him off," Lucian said flatly, though his gaze didn't leave mine. "But that's not what matters right now." "What do you mean that's not what matters?" I snapped, my fear igniting into anger. "I just killed someone. I'm not like you, Lucian, I'm not." "You're not human," he interrupted, his voice cutting through the night like a blade. The world seemed to tilt again. I blinked at him, stunned into silence. What did you just say?" Lucian stepped closer, his expression unreadable. His hand reached out like he wanted to touch me, but he stopped just shy of my arm. "I saw your eyes," he said, his voice softer now but still charged. "They flashed gold, Harper. Only one thing can cause that." "No," I shook my head violently, stumbling backward. "You're wrong. You have to be wrong. I'm not like you. I'm human." His lips curled into something dark. "No, Harper, you never were." My heart slammed against my ribs, threatening to burst free. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. "No," I screamed, the sound ripping from my throat like a wild animal's cry. "You don't get to just stand there and—" His hand shot out, grabbing my wrist with startling gentleness. "Listen to me," he hissed. "We don't have time for denial right now. If anyone else saw what I saw, they'll come for you. Do you understand me? You need to get out of here, now." But my legs wouldn't move. "What's happening to me, Lucian? What the hell is wrong with me?" He looked at me then, not like a predator, not like an alpha, but like a boy barely holding himself together. His thumb brushed my wrist, almost tenderly. "There's nothing wrong with you," he said quietly. "Everything wrong is with this place." And just like that, the dam inside him broke. He pulled me away from the body, deeper into the forest where the trees grew so thick even moonlight barely touched the ground. My mind was spinning, but I let him guide me, too stunned to fight. Finally, he stopped in a small clearing near an old, cracked stone statue of a wolf with broken fangs. "This is where it started," he murmured, glancing around like ghosts might be listening. "What started?" My voice was hoarse, trembling. "Wolfbane Academy," he said bitterly. "The trials, the blood games, everything." I wrapped my arms around myself, the night air biting cold against my sweat-soaked skin. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you deserve to know the truth before it's too late." His gaze met mine, intense and burning. "And because I'm done being my father's pawn." That name, his father, sent a ripple of unease through me. I'd heard whispers, rumors about the headmaster being more dangerous than even the most ruthless alpha here. Lucian crouched beside the statue, tracing the cracks in the stone with one finger. "Generations ago, our kind ruled openly. Wolves and humans lived side by side until humans started hunting us. The first alpha, my ancestor, built Wolfbane as a sanctuary, a place to train our young, keep them safe." "That doesn't sound so bad," I said cautiously. "It wasn't," he admitted. "At first, but power corrupts. Over time, it stopped being about survival and started being about dominance. The trials were created to weed out the weak, to create perfect leaders." His lip curled in disgust. "And to entertain the powerful." My stomach turned. "Entertain?" He nodded grimly. "The hunts, Harper, they were never about tradition. They're sport. A way for the ruling families to show off their heirs' strength by hunting humans." The memory of that cage full of terrified faces slammed into me like a fist. My breath caught. "That's why you didn't want me wandering the grounds alone." "It's why I chose you at the ceremony," he said fiercely. "If I hadn't, Kael would have claimed you, and Kael—" His hands clenched into fists. "He doesn't just play the game, he enjoys it." I shuddered, bile rising in my throat. Lucian's voice dropped lower, almost a whisper. I've been planning to destroy this place for years, to end the trials forever, but I can't do it alone. I stared at him, barely able to process everything. Why me? Why are you telling me this? Because you're not just another pawn, Harper. His gaze locked on mine. You're the only one who can tip the scales. Before I could respond, a sharp crack echoed through the trees. Lucian tensed instantly, pulling me behind him. What was that? I whispered. He sniffed the air, his expression darkening. Trouble. We crouched low, and through the branches, I saw a group of students moving swiftly through the forest, their torches casting eerie, flickering light. At their center was a tall, imposing figure I'd only seen from a distance, the headmaster, Lucian's father. My breath caught. Lucian cursed under his breath. We need to move. But then, voices carried on the wind. I strained to hear. The girl is becoming a problem, the headmaster said coldly. If she shows even a hint of what I suspect, she dies. No hesitation. Ice shot through my veins. Lucian froze, his whole body trembling with barely restrained fury. Understood, sir, one of the others replied. Good, the headmaster said. We'll strike during the next trial. No one will question it. Lucian's grip on my arm tightened, almost painful. Harper, he breathed, his voice shaking with urgency. We have to run, now. My heart thundered in my chest as I glanced back at the torchlight closing in. For the first time, I realized just how truly dangerous this game was. And this time, I wasn't just fighting to survive the trial. I was fighting to survive him. Take her alive, kill him. Kael's command cracked through the dungeon like a whip. The guards surged forward, snarling, their claws gleaming in the dim torchlight. Lucian strained against his chains, his roar of defiance shaking the walls. Harper, run, he bellowed. I didn't run. I couldn't, not while they were about to tear him apart. My instincts kicked in, sharp and unrelenting. I grabbed the first weapon I could, one of the spears the dead guards had dropped, and swung hard, slicing through the closest wolf's chest. Blood sprayed across the dungeon floor. Another guard lunged for me, and I spun low, sweeping his legs before stabbing upward into his gut. He howled in agony, collapsing beside his comrade. Kill her, Kael snarled, his golden eyes blazing like molten fire. The room became a whirlwind of violence. Claws clashed with steel, my breath ragged as I fought to stay alive. I could feel the bond between Lucian and me throbbing, desperate, his rage feeding mine. But there were too many of them. One massive wolf slammed into me from behind, throwing me to the ground. My spear skittered across the stones. No, Lucian's voice roared through the chaos, so powerful the very walls trembled. His eyes blazed crimson, his muscles straining until the chains cut into his skin. Blood poured down his arms. Kael laughed coldly. Struggle all you want, brother. Tonight you lose everything. I twisted, sinking my teeth into the wolf holding me down. He yelped, loosening his grip just long enough for me to roll free. I grabbed a broken chain from the floor and whipped it around his throat, pulling with every ounce of strength I had until he went limp. Kael's amusement vanished, his lip curled. Enough of this. With one swift motion, he slammed his hand against a glowing rune etched into the dungeon wall. The ground shuddered. Stone groaned. And before I could react, the floor beneath me collapsed. I fell screaming as darkness swallowed me whole. I hit solid ground with a bone-jarring thud. Pain exploded through my body, my breath knocked clean out of me. When I blinked my eyes open, the world around me had changed. Torches blazed from high, crumbling walls, casting a sickly golden glow across an enormous circular arena. The stands surrounding it were filled with wolves, their howls echoing through the cavernous space like a haunting chant. The stench of blood and sweat was overwhelming. Above me, Kael stood on a raised platform, looking down like a king surveying his subjects. His smile was sharp and cruel. Welcome to the final trial, Harper, he called, his voice carrying easily over the crowd's roaring excitement. I staggered to my feet, my chest heaving. You sick bastard, I spat, my voice raw. This isn't a trial, it's a slaughterhouse. Kael's eyes gleamed. Exactly. Two massive gates creaked open on either side of the arena. From one side, a pack of wolves stormed in, their teeth bared. From the other, a line of terrified humans stumbled forward, chained and collared. My stomach twisted violently. No, I whispered. No, no, no. Kael raised a hand, silencing the arena. Tonight, the future of Wolfbane will be decided, he declared. The blood moon rises, and with it the Queen's power will be proven. She will fight, or she will die. The crowd erupted in a deafening howl. I spun, frantic, searching for Lucian, but he was nowhere. Panic clawed at my chest. Where is he? I screamed at Kael. Kael tilted his head, his smile widening. He'll join us soon enough. For now, he clapped his hands once. Bring in her first opponent. The arena fell eerily silent. A single gate at the far end creaked open. Footsteps echoed, slow, deliberate. And then Leela stepped into the torchlight. My heart stopped. Her pale skin was smeared with dirt and blood, her wild hair hanging around her face. But her eyes were hollow, like something inside her had been ripped out. Leela, my voice broke. Oh my God, what did they do to you? She didn't answer, didn't even blink. Kael's cruel laughter rolled across the arena. Your dear friend made a choice, Harper. She pledged herself to my father to survive. Now she fights for her freedom or yours. No, I whispered, shaking my head. This isn't her. She doesn't want to hurt me. Kael's voice dripped with mockery. Convince her then, before she rips your throat out. Leela suddenly lunged, faster than I'd ever seen her move. I barely dodged in time, stumbling backward as her claws sliced through the space where my neck had been a second ago. Leela, stop, it's me, I cried, my chest aching with every word. You don't have to do this. But she didn't stop. Her attacks were relentless, precise. Each strike forced me closer to the edge of the arena, the crowd chanting for blood. Kael watched from above, his expression rapturous. Yes, he murmured, just loud enough for me to hear. Kill her, Leela, prove your loyalty. I couldn't bring myself to strike back, not at first. Every time I dodged or blocked, memories of our friendship flashed before my eyes. Late-night talks in our dorm, her laughter echoing through the halls, the way she'd once promised to have my back no matter what. But with each attack, each near miss that grazed my skin, the truth became painfully clear. If I didn't fight back, I'd die. And worse, Kael would win. I'm sorry, I whispered, tears streaming down my face. I grabbed a fallen spear, spinning it in my hands. Leela snarled, leaping for me again, and this time, I struck. The impact knocked her back, but she didn't stop. She came again, and again, until my arms ached, until my lungs screamed for air. Finally, with one desperate, heart-shattering move, I drove the spear straight through her chest. Her breath hitched. Her eyes flickered with recognition for just a second. Harper, she gasped, blood spilling from her lips. Watch, Kael. Then she went limp. I dropped the spear, catching her as she fell. My sobs racked my body as I held her lifeless form, the arena spinning around me. The crowd held its approval. Kael clapped slowly, mockingly. Beautiful, he said, his tone filled with wicked satisfaction. The Queen finally learns what it means to rule. My grief turned to rage. You monster, I screamed, my voice tearing from my throat. But before I could move, the second gate slammed open with a deafening crash. And there he was, Lucian. Chained, bloodied, dragged into the arena like a trophy. Kael's eyes glittered with triumph. Now, he said, spreading his arms, the real fight begins. The crowd roars as Kael declares. Kill him, Harper, kill your mate, or watch him die slowly before your eyes. Lucian lifts his head, his crimson gaze locking on mine. And then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he says, Do it, Harper. The world tilts, my breath catches, and I realize the final game has just begun. Do it, Harper. Lucian's voice cut through the roaring crowd like a blade. He was kneeling in the dirt, chains biting into his wrists, his body battered and bloodied. Even like this, he was unbreakable, his crimson eyes locked on mine, not with fear, but with fierce, stubborn resolve. My grip tightened on the blood-slick spear in my hands. "No," I choked, shaking my head. "I'm not doing this, I'm not killing you." Above us, Kael spread his arms wide, his voice booming over the arena. "Then watch him die slowly," he declared, his golden eyes burning with triumph. "I'll tear him apart piece by piece while every wolf here cheers my name." The crowd howled, stamping their feet, the sound like thunder. Lucian's jaw clenched. "Harper, listen to me," he hissed, urgent, desperate. "You have to survive this. If you don't, he wins, everyone loses." "I don't care." My voice cracked under the weight of my grief. "I won't let him take you from me." Kael laughed, dark and cruel. "Oh, how touching. The little queen thinks love matters here." He gestured sharply. "Guards, bring the next contestant." The gates groaned open. My stomach dropped. A group of warriors dragged in Leela's lifeless body, the same one I had just killed, but her head was bowed, limp and bloody. For a second, I thought it was some cruel trick, that I was hallucinating from exhaustion and grief. But then her chest rose. Barely. Her eyes snapped open, unnatural glowing gold. "No," I breathed, stumbling back. "No, no, no, this can't be real." Leela's lips twisted into a grotesque snarl, her voice guttural, wrong. "It's me, Harper," she hissed, but the tone wasn't hers. It was Kael's magic speaking through her. "And I came back for you." The crowd erupted into madness, chanting Leela's name, pounding their fists against the walls. Lucian jerked against his chains, rage twisting his face. "Kael, you sick bastard. This isn't a trial, it's necromancy." Kael's smile was cold and sharp. "A little resurrection magic to make things interesting. You see, Harper, you didn't truly kill her before. Now you'll have to." "No," my scream tore from my throat. "I won't keep killing my friends just to amuse you." Kael tilted his head mockingly. "You will, because if you do." He gestured, and one of his guards drove a blade into Lucian's side. Lucian roared in agony, collapsing forward. "Stop!" I shrieked, my body trembling so violently I could barely stand. "Stop, I'll fight her." Kael's smirk widened. "Good girl." Leela lunged at me with terrifying speed, faster than before, her claws like curved daggers. I barely rolled away in time, dirt spraying up around us. "Leela, fight it," I screamed as I scrambled to my feet. "I know you're still in there, don't let him control you." But she didn't even flinch. Her face was blank, empty, a marionette dancing to Kael's twisted tune. She slashed at me, missing by an inch, then spun and aimed for my throat. I parried with my spear, sparks flying as metal met claw. My arms ached, my lungs burned. I was running out of strength and out of hope. "Harper," Lucian shouted, his voice hoarse with pain. "You have to end this, it's not her anymore." "I can't," I sobbed, tears blurring my vision. "I can't kill her again, I caw." "You can," his roar was feral, shaking me to my core. "If you don't, she'll kill you, and then Kael will have everything." Kael leaned forward on his throne, eyes glittering. "Do it, little queen. Show us the true power of your bloodline." The fight became a blur of claws and steel. Leela was relentless, her attacks vicious and calculated, driving me backward toward the edge of the arena. Every time I hesitated, I saw the Leela I remembered, laughing in our dorm room, whispering secrets under the covers at night. But the thing in front of me wasn't my friend anymore. It was a weapon. A trap. A final test. She pinned me against the arena wall, her claws digging into my shoulders. I screamed, pain ripping through me. Her breath was hot against my ear as she snarled. "Kill me, please." For a split second, I saw it her. The real Leela, buried under Kael's control, begging for release. My sobs racked my chest. "I'm sorry," I whispered. Then I drove the spear through her heart. Leela gasped, her body arching in agony. Her golden eyes flickered back to their natural brown. A single tear slid down her cheek. "Harper," she breathed, her voice faint and broken. "Watch Kael." And then she went still. I caught her as she fell, my knees sinking into the blood-soaked dirt. The world spun around me, but all I could see was her face, pale and peaceful now in death. "No, no, no," my sobs were uncontrollable. "You didn't deserve this. None of you did." Lucian's chains rattled as he struggled to reach me. "Harper, you have to get up. It's not over." A slow clap echoed through the arena. Kael descended the steps of his throne, his movements calm and deliberate, his golden eyes gleaming with sadistic delight. "Touching," he drawled. Truly, I almost shed a tear myself. I glared up at him through my tears. "You'll pay for this, Kael. I swear on her life, you'll pay." "Oh, you still don't understand," Kael said softly, almost kindly. Then, in a blur of motion, he snatched a dagger from his belt and plunged it into his father's chest. The crowd gasped. Lucian's eyes went wide. Even I froze, too stunned to move. Kael's father staggered forward, blood pouring from the wound. His lips parted in shock. "Why?" he rasped. Kael leaned close, whispering in his father's ear as a chilling smile spread across his face. "Because you were always in my way." Then he shoved him aside. Lucian's father collapsed, dead before he hit the ground. The arena erupted into chaos. You killed him," I whispered, trembling. Kael turned to me, his face serene, his hands covered in his own father's blood. "Yes," he said simply, "and now, with him gone, there's only one thing left to do." He pointed at Lucian, his voice ringing out like a death knell. "Kill him, Harper. Kill Lucian, and you will be free." The crowd chanted my name, their howls deafening, their bloodlust vibrating through the ground beneath my feet. Lucian lifted his head, his crimson eyes locked on mine. His expression was calm, too calm, as he whispered, "Do it, Harper." My heart shattered. The spear trembled in my hands. And for the first time, I didn't know if I was holding a weapon or my own destruction. I was standing between Kael and Lucian, blood dripping from my hands as Kael screams, "Do it and you're free," while Lucian whispers, "Do it and save us all." I raised the spear, torn between love and survival.